nervous about paper currency and the valuation of it, why not just buy real estate and hold on to it? Is that not a good idea?
It's not a good idea.
No.
It's not a good idea because real estate is more interest rate sensitive than it is even inflation sensitive. So if you were to say, if this environment happens, does it go? It goes down in real terms. It's also an asset that is a fixed asset that is the easiest asset to tax. In other words, you in any place, you're in a particular state, putting in real estate taxes means that they could always get the money. And so it's not an effective diversifier that way. And also being able to move money from one place to another, the real estate is nailed down.
So there you have it. Well, this 2025, right? How about for the long-term prospect, why not invest in real estate? The fact is, you get real advantage investing in real estate because of leverage. Basically, you put down a small down payment, right? And you borrow from the bank, and you can put down less than 30%. You borrow 70%. You pay over time, right? So that is the advantage. You got really high level play. However, it's a very concentrated portfolio, and you're basically locked in. That's a very high transaction cost. You cannot get in and out quickly. It's hard to diversify because every time requires a certain amount of capital. Depends on the geographic location. You're pretty locked in for the next 5-10 years. That is the disadvantage of real estate in that sense. And not only that, you really think about it. Like Warren Buffett has always described, real estate is a very lousy investment, and I actually agree with it. Now, it took me a long time to actually agree with Warren Buffett. Agree with a lot of how his approaches. He's like a forever stockholder. While I'm a trader. In my younger years, of course, there's a whole different ball game, right? But over time, in the end, in actuality, you need to develop that long view. So,
a lot of experience in real estate, and Charlie made his early money in real estate. The second point is the more important point. Real estate is not a commodity, but I think it tends to be more accurately priced, particularly developed real estate, more accurately priced most of the time. Now, during the RTC period, when you had huge amounts of transactions and you had an owner that didn't want to be an owner in a very big way and they didn't know what the hell they owned and all of that sort of thing. I mean, you had a lot of mispricing then, and I know a few people in this room that made a lot of money off of that. But under most conditions, it's hard to find real estate that's really mispriced. I mean, when I look at the transactions that REITs engage in currently, and you get a lot of information on that sort of thing, they're very similar, but it's a competitive world, and they all know about what a Class A office building in Chicago or wherever it may be is going to produce. So at least they may all be wrong, as it turns out, because of some unusual events, but it's hard to argue with the current conventional wisdom most of the time in the real estate world. But occasionally there have been some, there could be big opportunities in the field, but if they exist, it will certainly be because there'll be a lot of chaos in real estate financing for one reason or another. We've done some real estate financing, and you have to have the money shut off to quite a degree, probably to get any big mispricing across the board. Charlie?
So here it is. I mean, basically, right, mispricing is where you find good valuations, right? Companies can be mispriced much more often than real estate in actuality, as from Warren Buffett himself in that sense. When you invest in stock, you're looking at that, especially for him, he's a deep value guy. He's looking at cheap, undervalued stock. But in real estate, you rarely find that. Once it's discovered, people just jump right into it, and they're like vultures, coyotes, and they see it before anybody else does. And there's only one lot or one section, and everybody try to power in, and by the time you discover, it's too late. Always too late. It's unlike the financial markets, is just a lot more opportunities. So there you have it. Why actually I always think that real estate is really lousy game versus something that's liquid, that has a lot more opportunity because of mispricing, basically. You can use fundamental analysis, you can use technical analysis, and there's so many trade around it. You can use options. You can actually use lever with options. Options are lever play, basically. In that sense, you can use those powerful tools, just like real estate. So why would I have actual really investment into real estate versus financial market stocks and bonds and options? And that's what I think.